Friday, January 26, 2024. Daily Bread. Title: Wisdom in Handling Conflict and Criticism. Judges chapter 8, verses 1 through 21. Key verse 3. God gave Oreb and Zeeb, the Midianite leaders, into your hands. What was I able to do compared to you? At this, their resentment against him subsided. Zebah and Zalmunna. Now the Ephraimites asked Gideon, "Why have you treated us like this? Why didn't you call us when you went to fight Midian?" And they challenged him vigorously. But he answered them, "What have I accomplished compared to you? Aren't the gleanings of Ephraim's grapes better than the full grape harvest of Abiezer? God gave Oreb and Zeeb, the Midianite leaders, into your hands. What was I able to do compared to you?" At this, their resentment against him subsided. Gideon and his 300 men, exhausted yet keeping up the pursuit, came to the Jordan and crossed it. He said to the men of Sukkot, "Give my troops some bread. They are worn out, and I am still pursuing Zebah and Zalmunna, the kings of Midian." But the officials of Sukkot said, "Do you already have the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna in your possession? Why should we give bread to your troops?" Then Gideon replied, "Just for that, when the Lord has given Zebah and Zalmunna into my hand, I will tear your flesh with desert thorns and briars." From there he went up to Peniel and made the same request of them. But they answered as the men of Sukkot had. So he said to the men of Peniel, "When I return in triumph, I will tear down this tower." Now Zebah and Zalmunna were in Karkor with a force of about 15,000 men, all that were left of the armies of the eastern peoples. 120,000 swordsmen had fallen. Gideon went up by the route of the nomads east of Nobah and Jogbehah and attacked the unsuspecting army. Zebah and Zalmunna, the two kings of Midian, fled, but he pursued them and captured them, routing their entire army. Gideon, son of Joash, then returned from the battle by the pass of Heres. He caught a young man of Sukkot and questioned him, and the young man wrote down for him the names of the 77 officials of Sukkot, the elders of the town. Then Gideon came and said to the men of Sukkot, "Here are Zebah and Zalmunna, about whom you taunted me by saying, 'Do you already have the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna in your possession? Why should we give bread to your exhausted men?'" He took the elders of the town and taught the men of Sukkot a lesson by punishing them with desert thorns and briars. He also pulled down the tower of Peniel and killed the men of the town. Then he asked Zebah and Zalmunna, "What kind of men did you kill at the tower?" "Men like you," they answered, "each one with the bearing of a prince." Gideon replied, "Those were my brothers, the sons of my own mother. As surely as the Lord lives, if you had spared their lives, I would not kill you." Turning to Jeter, his oldest son, he said, "Kill them." But Jeter did not draw his sword, because he was only a boy and was afraid. Zebah and Zalmunna said, "Come, do it yourself. As is the man, so is his strength." So Gideon stepped forward and killed them, and took the ornaments off their camels' necks. Daily Bread. Number 1. Gideon cools down conflict. After the battle against the Midianites, Gideon and his men were exhausted. So, when the Ephraimites came to pick a fight about how they weren't called to battle against Midian, Gideon could have reacted emotionally. Instead, he responded with wisdom, acknowledging their contributions and calming their anger. Sometimes we face criticism and conflict. How we respond to them says a lot about what kind of person we are. Reacting impulsively and emotionally reveals our immaturity, but responding with humility, gentleness, and peace demonstrates we are mature and reflects Christ-like character. Romans chapter 12, verse 18 says, If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. As much as we are able to, we must strive for peace in all our relationships. Not only so, we don't cause more trouble, but also to correctly represent Christ. Number 2, no prayer equals no wisdom. As Gideon was pursuing the Midianite kings, there was a subtle shift in his dependence on God to a dependence on his own strength. His humility gradually turned into pride and hot-temperedness. There was one key reason Gideon's attitude suddenly changed. He stopped praying. He wasn't talking with God anymore, seeking His will and following His leading. Instead, he was acting out of his own emotional anger. If we don't pray and ask for God's wisdom, we start making terrible decisions. Are you seeking God's help to overcome emotion, handle conflict, and act in a way that pleases Him? Or do you only act in the way that feels right to you? Proverbs chapter 14 verse 12 says, "There is a way that appears to be right, but in the end it leads to death." We should not trust in ourselves. Many times our feelings mislead us. We need to carry on a continual conversation with God through prayer, seeking His wisdom, so that we please and honor Him with our behavior. Prayer. Lord, please forgive me for acting based on my emotion instead of seeking your wisdom. Help me to manage conflict wisely and prayerfully, so that I correctly represent you. One word, handle conflict with humility and God's wisdom.